Hi everyone, my name is Joanna. I'm from Wysebites. Wysebites stands for What You Should Eat. I run workshops in the community and schools and privately for teaching people how to eat healthy and how to improve their repertoire of menus and their family for their family. I also do I work with children that have food sensory issues. I do outside catering and I do markets as well where I sell all my baked goods. So today I am going to make a few different dishes. The first thing I'm going to do is creamy chickpea and roasted butternut squash soup. Then I'm going to do a homemade brown bread with treacle and sesame seeds. And then I'm going to do an apple and blackberry crumble. Okay. So I'm going to start off with the soup. I'm going to get it into the oven first. So I have butternut squash. I'm going to get this into the oven. So a few people were asking me before we came on there about how to cut up butternut squash. So I always top and tail it. Okay. So this one here, I'm going to roast it. And then if you have a sharp knife, that's really beneficial. So you can cut down the middle like that. Okay. Then all you have to do then is we're going to just get a wee bowl here for scooping it for rubbish. So when you're cooking, it's good to have a little bowl beside you for all your rubbish. And then you can take out the seeds. Yeah. Sorry? So I'm just taking out the seeds. And you can roast the seeds as well. They're nice, so like pumpkin seeds. Now this recipe here, you can use pumpkin as well. You can do the same thing with pumpkin. You just cut up your pumpkin. I have a pumpkin here. And you can cut it down the middle and you can cut it into 4 or cut it in half and do the same, roast it, and then do the same as what I'm doing here now. So I'm just going to get a tray. So I'm going to put it in a tray like that. And then I have some fresh garlic as well. So I'm just going to put in a couple of cloves of fresh garlic. And then whenever you're doing your garlic, just crush it with your knife. And then I'm just going to crush it a little bit and chop it, just chop it. Okay. And then I have some oil here. This is just olive oil. So I'm just going to spray a little bit of oil on it. Okay. And then just put the garlic in the inside of it. Okay. Then I have some you can use mixed herbs. So I'm using a little bit of thyme just to give it a wee something like wintry, you want that kind of wintry flavor. So herbs are good for that. So this is sage and thyme. So just put a wee bit. So, but if you have mixed herbs, the wee thing of mixed herbs, they will do just as well. A bit of salt and pepper as well. Just a wee bit. Okay. And then I'm going to stick this in the oven for about 40 minutes. So I'm going to put it in my electric oven because it's quicker. So once that's in, I'll show you how to chop a different way. Okay. So somebody was asking me, Phyllis, you were asking me about peeling it. So
it was Louise, I think, was asking you there.
Who was asking me?
It was Louise, my
Louise, yeah.
She had a pop out, but she was looking to know how to cut the butternut squash without making a mess.
Yeah, so you can put these ones I got are quite small. Usually they're a bit bigger, but so if you use your potato peeler, you can use your knife. So if I was using a sharp knife, I would just go around it like that. Use your knife and peel it like that. And you can do this with your pumpkin as well. All right. Or you can use your potato peeler. And this is only new, so it's quite sharp. So watch your fingers. So that's actually really easy to do. You can just peel it with a peeler, as long as your peeler is quite sharp. Just be careful. Because I've cut myself a few times with this peeler in the dishwasher, when you go to pick it up. So just be careful. All right. So you can do that with both sides of it. All right. I'm just going to show you. And then put it down into strips. So you can use this, you can do this, I think it's nicer roasted. I think it gives it more flavor if it's roasted. And then just cut it into dice. And you can use this with onion, carrots, parsnips, you know, and use it for roasted vegetables. And then just cut it into wee dice like that. Okay, so that's another way of doing it. So it's easy enough to do. Sometimes I think you can buy them but they're already chopped up. If you don't, if you know, some people don't have the strength in their hands to, you don't have the strength to use the knife. You know, you can buy it chopped up. But yeah, so you can use that for roasting it. But I'm just going to use the one that I have in the oven for the soup, okay? So to get the soup on, I have a pot here. I'll just move all this over here. So I'm going to prepare the vegetables. So whenever I'm making a soup, any soup, I use a mirror pot, right? A mirror pot is onions, carrots, and celery. So that's your base of most soups, okay? And if you use them and fry them off, I always use a little bit of butter and a bit of oil as well. Not too much butter, but just to give it a bit of flavor, okay? So I'm just going to chop up the onion. And what we'll do then, we'll fry them off. Some people make soup and they just bring it all to the boil. And it doesn't really give it as much, it doesn't give it much flavor, I don't think. So I like to fry it off, fry these off first. And if I'm making any soup, I would do this as well. So, and then afterwards, then you add your main ingredients, like say you're making cauliflower soup or leek potato, you know, then you would add all your main vegetable to it then, and then saute that off again. So our main ingredient in this soup will be the butternut squash. And then I'm going to use, now I have the recipe, I sent the recipe to Paula. And the recipe, I had rewrote the recipe, but I sent the wrong one. So on your recipe, it'll say lentils. But you can use lentils, and instead of lentils, this recipe, I'm using chickpeas. Okay. Now chickpeas are full of protein, and they've got lots of fiber in them as well. So.
And are they similar to lentils then? Yes.
Sorry.
Chickpeas are very similar to lentils, are they?
Yeah, similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just for handiness, these are in the tin, and they'll give it the soup a bit more creaminess, you know. So I'm just going to chop. So I'm going to put on the gas here. Can everybody see what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is my good old camping stove. I could do it there, but then I have to shout across to you. So I like to do it so everyone can see me. So I'm putting a little bit of oil in there. Okay. Just a wee bit. Just move it over. I'll move it over now so you can see everything. Then just chop your onion into little dice. Now you can double this recipe and make a big pot of it. Then you can freeze it into portions, you know, into little tubs or bags, freezer bags. So it's a great soup to have for during the winter. Now I'll just get the onions in. Okay. We'll get the onions frying. Just gonna grab some butter here, sorry. I'm only putting a little bit of butter in, just to give it the flavor. Okay. Now this is called sweating, so you're sweating your vegetables to get more flavor out of them. Now I'm going to use some diced carrot. Okay. So I've washed and peeled this carrot. I've had it already, just for handiness. So whenever you're chopping your vegetables for soup or for casseroles or for any dish, always kind of keep them uniform, keep them the same so they cook at the same time, you know. And it gives a lovely smell. I love the smell of the onions and the carrots. I think it's lovely. It's a real wintry smell. Nice to have that when you come into the house.
It's comfort food, Joanna.
Sorry, Paula?
Comfort food.
Yeah. Comfort food. That's what
That's
we
whole,
need.
your whole menus today are comfort food for
Yeah.
this time of the year.
Well, we let that sweat down. So when you put the lid on, you're creating a bit of steam, okay? So then it's going to be more moist and it's not going to burn. So if you keep the lid on, you'll have more moisture in it. So if you turn it down just on a kind of low to medium heat, that should let it cook away there. So in this recipe, I'm also going to put in a bit of leek as well, just because I have it gives it a nice little bit of body as well and flavor. So just going to put in a little bit of leek, and I have some celery leaves as well. I'll put a bit of them in because they give it a bit more flavor. Okay. So the base of your soup will have a lovely flavor before you even add the main ingredients. So that's kind of the trick. And then to thicken the soup as well as the chickpeas, I add potatoes as well. So years ago, when I worked in hotels, we would have used like butter and flour to thicken the soups, but it was like a pound of butter. It would have been so much butter. So kind of gone away from that now. So we use like starchy vegetables to thicken the soup, and then you can blend it up, you know. And then you're not having your flour and the ridiculous amounts of butter that used to go into, even though it is lovely, have to say. And then they used to put like a half pint of cream into it as well. So, but you can still do that, but just not every day.
Not good for the cholesterol.
Yeah, you have to watch your cholesterol. So this soup here is very good for low cholesterol because the butternut squash has is high fiber, and then that's good for cholesterol as well. And it has vitamin C and vitamin A, so it's very good for your digestion, and it's like helps you prevent strokes and cancers and diabetes, to be honest. So that's what the research is saying on it. So I'm going to drain these chickpeas. Okay, I don't want to put the juice in, so I'm just going to put them in. Now I use these a lot. I would put these into soups and casseroles and stews. Even mince, if I make mince, I throw in chickpeas or any beans that I have in the cupboard, even baked beans, throw them in. If you're making a tomatoey sauce, it gives it more get more fiber and more protein in your dishes, which means you're not spending as much money on meat, you know, when you're having a plant alternative. So I have potatoes here. I'll keep these here and the chickpeas. Okay. Now I'm just going to boil the kettle 2 seconds. So I'm using them stock cubes, and you can make your own stock. But these ones here, I like Knorr. That's my favorite actually. I like Knorr, but you can buy ones that are gluten free, for anyone that's celiac, and you can buy ones that are low salt as well. So if you're watching your salt content, if you have a roast chicken on a Sunday for dinner during the week, just boil up the bones with some carrots and onions and leek celery, and drain it after about half an hour, 45 minutes. Drain it, and you have real good chicken stock, and then you can put it in your freezer and take it out whenever you need it. Okay, so that's that there. So I'm just going to add some boiling water to this. I'll just show you the. So these are softening down now. They smell lovely.
Looks good.
I'm just going to put a little bit of salt and pepper in them. Not too much. White pepper is very good. It brings out the flavor. So use a bit of white pepper. Okay. Then I give this a wee stir. Sorry. So I'm just dissolving this in hot water, the stock cubes in hot water. Okay. Now, just going to add more water. The trick when you're making soup is not to put too much liquid. A lot of people make this mistake and they fill up the pot, put too much water in it, and then whenever you go to blend it or you go to serve it, it's really watery. So what I do is say a pint and a half of water and stock into the pot, and then if you need more, then you can add more, because I'm going to add a little bit of milk to this as well. So I'm just going to let that cook away there. I'm going to put it on the gas actually. I'll put it on this here. So I'm going to put it on this here. Let it cook away. Then I'll move this out of the road. Tidy up a little bit. So whenever the roasted butternut squash is ready, then I'm going to scoop it out, and then I'm going to put it into the pot, and then I'm going to add the chickpeas. Actually, I'm going to put the potatoes in now. We should have put them in. I'm going to put the potatoes in and let them come to the boil, and then whenever the butternut squash is ready, we'll scoop it out and add it into it, and then we'll add the chickpeas and let it boil up. And then I'm going to blend it and then add a little bit of milk to it as well, or a bit of cream. Okay, so just give me a minute now. I'm just going to tidy up here on this bit. I've no pot washer today. I have to do it all myself.
Just saying, if Maria or Phyllis have any questions, just shout out. Hope you wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
If anybody's got any questions.
Has anyone any questions? So the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to make some bread. I'm going to make this is a really easy recipe. So you need, sorry, I'm getting the bones out. So you need 2 bowls, 2 jugs. So the jug here, okay. I'm just going to grab butternut. Okay, so for this recipe, we're going to use I just want to show you the type of flour that I'm using. So for this recipe, it's wholemeal coarse. So this one here is nailed. But I think you can buy different brands. There's lots of different varieties of that. So make sure you get the wholemeal coarse one, okay? So that has all the fiber in it. And then I also use this plain flour here as well, okay? So I'm very organized today. I have it all measured out. So, yeah, so for this recipe, it's really easy. So you put your dry ingredients in one bowl and your wet ingredients in another, okay? So crack an egg in here. We'll do the wet ingredients first. I'm going to crack an egg. Okay. And then 400 mils of buttermilk. So this is just the Cool Reed buttermilk. You can make your own buttermilk if you don't have any. You can just add a teaspoon of vinegar and let it sit for a few minutes. So this is 400 grams. 400 grams, or 400 mils, sorry. 400 mils of buttermilk. Okay. And some oil. So I'm using how much? 2 tablespoons of sunflower oil. Okay, so I haven't measured out now, so throw them in there. Okay. And then we use some treacle. So you only need a teaspoon of this treacle. You only need a teaspoon. Okay, so there's not much sugar in this. This is where you're getting your sugar and your color for the bread, you know. So we're just putting a teaspoon of treacle in it. You don't need too much. All right. Now, leave all that there. Okay. So give that a good whisk. And that's your wet ingredients. Now you can double up this. Now on the recipe it says it makes 2 loaves, okay? But I made this last night and I just want to show you the size of it. So this is what I made last night, but it's not very big. So I'm going to do just this one recipe in a tin, but it's in a little bit of a bigger tin. So I'm going to use like I think that's a 2-pound tin. So I'm going to use that there and put the whole mixture into it. But you can use the smaller tins if you want to make 2 small ones, okay? But I'm just going to put it into a bigger tin because I think it looks nicer and it rises more. Okay, so that's that there. Then in this bowl here, I'll have the flour. So we're all about good health. So it's important that you have a lot of fiber in your diet. So this bread here it's the main ingredient is wholemeal flour. So it'll be very good for, you know, your digestion. And I'm just putting in 100 grams of just plain flour. Okay. So just give that a wee mix. And then you need a teaspoon of baking powder as well. Okay. Teaspoon of baking powder. And then salt as well. Let's see, where am I at? Yeah, teaspoon of salt. Okay, but I'm not using a full teaspoon. I'm just using less than a level teaspoon because try and cut down on your salt intake. And then we'll just give that a stir. Okay. Now in the recipe it says sesame seeds. So I'm going to use you can use mixed seeds, you can use any seeds you like. So I'm going to use some sunflower seeds. Okay, in the recipe, and some sesame seeds. Okay. And then I want to keep some for the top. I want to keep some for the top of it. So give that a good stir. So you know the way you can buy like mixed seeds, or you know, you get the bags with the mixed seeds. You can add like 50 grams of mixed seeds to it. Whatever you like, or you don't have to put seeds if you don't like seeds. You don't want to put seeds in it, don't bother. You're okay. Okay. Now for this here, I'm just going to grease this. I'm just going to put a bit of oil on it. Okay. Usually I have the wee you know, the liners, they're so handy, you can buy them in where do I buy mine? Sheehy's actually in Cookstown, or B&M Bargains, you can get them. But I've run out of them, so I'm just going to use this little egg brush and a little bit of oil, not too much. All right. And then make a hole in the middle of your bowl and then pour that in. Okay, so you want this to be kind of like sticky. You want it to be like a sticky. You're not going to knead it. It's going to be just like a sticky mix, you know. a wet mix. So we're not kneading this one. You know the way some people make like a soda bread and then you can knead it? This one's not. This one's just an all-in-one in the bowl and mix it all up. All right. Now. Then just put it into your tin. Everybody see me? Into your tin. Okay. And then you just flatten it out like that. Put it into the corners. All right. Now this might take a bit longer. This might take about 40 minutes. Oh. It says 30 minutes on it for the smaller one. So then what you do then is take your knife, okay, and then just see what I'm doing. Just push your knife back and forward and make a line down the middle, like that. Then I'm putting in some sesame seeds in the middle. And I'm going to put in a handful of sunflower seeds as well. Just so you know when the bread rises, then you'll have like the seeds at the top of it. Okay. So that's it then. I'm going to put that in at 200 degrees. That's in my fan oven, but if you have like an ordinary oven or gas oven, it'll be like 5 or 6. So I'm putting that in now, okay? Right, so that's the bread is in and the soup is on. I'm just going to check the soup here. We'll give it a wee stir. We might actually like look. So you can put your chickpeas in as well. I'm going to put the chickpeas in now and let it cook away. All right. And then when the butternut squash is ready, I will scoop it out and put it in. I'm just going to put these over in the sink. Give me 2 minutes. Anyone any questions? Let's give it 2 seconds. Has anyone any questions?
I don't think anybody has any questions,
Oh,
Joanna.
that's all right. I
No?
thought my sound was gone off there.
No, it was me coughing, I think.
I was panicking there. I thought, oh God, the sound's gone off.
Can I just comment? You make it look so easy.
Oh, do you know what? Years of experience.
I'm not a cook. My mother was a great cook, but I don't really bother. But I love watching people cook and I love watching cookery shows.
Do you?
Yeah. Do you watch
I know,
MasterChef? Do you?
I was just watching video or cookery programs there for the last 2 months.
All right.
Recovering from a operation.
What happened? What
Good
operation
excuse.
did you have?
Oh, I had a knee replacement.
Oh, you had a knee replacement. All right.
Yeah.
How are you finding it?
Yeah, I'm getting there. Slow, but getting there.
You seem pretty
Nighttime is the
mobile
worst.
anyway, so that's good.
Yeah, I'm getting there. Nighttime is the worst. You're very sore at nighttime for some
All
reason.
right.
I think it's when all your healing is done at nighttime, apparently.
All right.
Now, but I'm getting there. So
That's
the
good.
next thing, while we're waiting on the bread to cook, I'm going to do an apple crumble. So this one here is a really easy apple crumble to do. And I'll just have blackberries in it as well. Let me see. Grab everything. So I have apples, roundly apples, and some fresh blackberries. So I'm just going to give these a wee rinse. I'll just give them a wee rinse here. Give me a second. So this is like, first of all, instead of making, with my say, hold on, I'll get my recipe. So I'm going to make like a fruit compote. So that's kind of like, say if you had loads of strawberries or raspberries or, you know, fruit left over, you can make like a compote and then you can put it in a wee jar and like have it like a jam, you know, it kind of sets. So this is kind of, I'm using blackberries and apples and a bit of butter and a bit of sugar. And I'm going to cook them on a pot for a few minutes and let it simmer down. And then we'll make the crumble separate and then put that on top. I'm going to put it into like a wee pie dish. And then we'll put the crumble on top and then we'll bake it in the oven. Okay. So I have to get my gas cooker out again. Give me a minute. Running out of space here. We'll just leave that in there. So I have 3 big apples here. So when I'm cutting my apples, I just cut them in 4, okay? And then I cut them like that. And then probably an easier way to do it, but I always just do it this way. I find it easier. Okay, then I get my wee bowl back. Here. So I'm just going to put all the rubbish in there. And then just peel them. Okay. Now there's probably an easier way to do this, but I always do it this way. And then you just peel the skin off. Now if you're doing a big pile of this and you're not going to use the apples straight away, then I would put a bit of lemon juice on them to stop them from going yellow or brown. So just put them into this week. I'll actually put them into the pot. So I'm just putting them into the pot here. Just slice them up. Okay. And then we'll do we'll put the sugar and the butter in with them as well. Okay. Now you can pour these, you know, if you have a corer, we can do that as well. And just takes away the inside of them. And then just peel them. Has anybody got a surplus of apples?
I have apple trees, Joanna, and
Sorry?
I have apple trees every year. They've been in our garden since I was a child, but I don't cook. My mother cooked with apples. She made apple tarts all the time, apple crumble and whatever. But they're
Right.
wasted. They're wasted on me, these wee apple trees. I'll have a plum tree as well. It's full of plums, and I give them away to people. To
Oh,
make.
lovely.
But you know, someone watching this here has inspired me to
Yeah,
go.
well, you could make up a whole batch, you know, if you go out to your garden and dig them up off the ground.
No. Do you know the
You know,
squirrels?
just
The
make a big
squirrels eat
pot of it.
my apples. I watch them from my kitchen window. The squirrels would eat the apples sitting on the wall,
Yeah, yeah.
or the wasps get them too. It's not good.
My husband's cousin, they have an orchard in Armagh, so they always give us apples. So I have a whole load of apples at the moment. But I do always make crumble, or you know, what did I make on Sunday? I made an egg or an egg sponge. No, not an egg sponge, like a Madeira sponge with the apples on the bottom. You know,
I was going to
it was
say, is your
lovely.
family really well fed now, Joanna? Because, or is this a bit of a busman's holiday for you? You know, you want to leave
Yeah,
this as
well,
part of work?
they've been kind of looking after themselves for the last few months. But now I'm kind of getting back at it now, you know. So no, they were good. My boy that's 18, he's very good. Like he would have done a lot of cooking for us. And I had actually put stuff in the freezer before I went into hospital.
I'll not starve then.
I was a bit organized. Wait, I just move that over there. So in here I have the apples, okay, and then I've washed the blackberries, so I'm putting them in, okay, and then I have some butter, so I have it all weighed out. So you have the recipe there, so I'm just putting in some butter, and then some sugar as well, okay, and then just going to let that simmer down. Let it simmer down for a few minutes. Turn it on. Let me see. Yeah, so if you put a lid on it, as I said, you put the lid on it, then it will produce steam. And then I'm putting a little bit of cinnamon in as well, actually, just to give it a bit of flavour. Because it's like Halloweeny, autumn, you need cinnamon, don't you?
Yoga.
So put that in, let that cook down for a minute. And then that. I'm just going to check, I want to check the butternut squash in the oven. Yeah, it's still not ready yet. That's simmering away there. That's doing its own thing there. Okay, so I'll just let that. I get a wee one spoon. So just give it a wee stir and let the butter melt into it. Then you'll have a mixture of like the juices from the blackberry and the juices from the apple. Okay, and then to do the crumble, I have it all measured out. Okay, so yeah, so that's like 2 steps. So everything I do, I try and make it easy for people. So this is a 2-step crumble. Okay, so have some flour. Now, if you want to add, you know the way I was saying about this flour here is wholemeal flour, okay? So you can buy one that's, this is the coarse one, but you can buy a medium flour, okay? So if you want to use it for baking like bread, no, not bread, like banana bread or muffins or even crumble, you know, you can use the medium flour because it's kind of in between the coarse and ordinary flour, which are getting a bit of fiber in your, you know, you're trying to get more fiber into your family's diet. Use the medium one, and even just like for that recipe there, it's 120 grams of plain flour, so you can put in like 60 grams of the medium flour, you know, just like half and half. They'll not even notice the difference. So I'm just using plain flour. But there's also oats in this, so you're getting your fiber anyway, you know, with the oats. And oats are very good for your cholesterol, for lowering your cholesterol as well. Okay. And then some butter. You can use low fat butter, or you can use like, you know, the healthy one, but I have to use butter. But I don't use too much of it. I'm just going to rub some of these. Use gloves. Save me washing my hands. And all you do then is put your butter in, and then turn it into breadcrumbs. So I'm just going to turn this down. If I just fix this here. I'll just show you. Lovely. See it there?
Yeah.
Oh, it smells lovely. The cinnamon and the blackberries, it's really nice.
Lovely.
These can all come over after for tea. Tea and curry.
Who's going to eat all this stuff today then, Joanna?
Oh, don't worry, it'll be eaten. I'm not going to wait here. So then you just put in your butter, okay? And then you just rub it in with your hands, with your fingertips, okay? Get it all mixed in like that, okay? And then I'm just putting in the sugar. Okay, now you already have a lot of sugar, in the fruit. So we're just putting in, I reduced that recipe had 90 grams of sugar, but I reduced so 60 grams of sugar. Okay, so you want your crumble to be kind of in your hand, like crumbly, you know, like lumpy. Because you know when you bite into your crumble, you want it to be like you know, when you bite into it, you like to have like a big
Crunchy.
kind of like biscuit, you know, that kind of
Yeah.
crumble effect. You know, like sometimes you get crumble and it's just like powdery. This one here is kind of like, it'll be chunky.
Yeah. That's the way I
And in
like.
the oven, it goes brown, you know, and it's crunchy and crispy like so. Now you can do these in little ramekins. So as you see these, you can do them individually. You know, if you want to serve them separately, if you're having people over for dinner or you want to be fancy, do them in them and put your apple, your fruit on the bottom and your crumble on the top. But I'm just going to do it all in the one dish. So I'm going to do these in this size of a dish here. And I'm just going to add just a wee bit of oil and then same thing. I'm just going to give it a wee stir. Just mix it up like that, okay? And then make sure it's all oiled. All right. Take that off. So this here should be ready. Yeah, that's nice and soft. I've turned that off. I'll just show you now. See that there? So the apples are nice and soft, and the berries have exploded, so they're nice purple color. Isn't that lovely?
That's great. The apples are soft then, Joanna, because I hate
Well,
apples
it only
crumble.
takes a few minutes.
I hate
You know, and if you
apples
have
that are
loads of
crumble.
apples, you can make a big pot of that and do that with it, and then you can keep them in a wee jar. You know,
Yeah, no, I was
or you
just
can
saying
freeze them.
I don't like apples that are crunchy. Do you know what I mean? Do you ever get an
Yeah,
apple tart and then you're biting into the apple? I don't like that.
yeah. We'll stew it like that, or even
Yeah.
like you can stew apples without butter or sugar. This is like a compote that I've done,
Ah,
but you can just do like sugar and water, just a wee tiny drop of water, and put the lid on it and let it simmer down. You know. Now I just want to taste this because I might have to add a bit more sugar. No, it's lovely, very nice. So I'm putting it in the bottom of the dish. There you go. That makes a nice Sunday lunch dessert, Sunday dinner dessert. Very nice. Now you can make, see the way I've done the compote there, you can make like an egg, like a cake, like a Madeira sponge mix and put that on the top and you'd have like blackberry and apples, Madeira sponge, you know, with the apples on the bottom. It's really nice.
sounds good.
Yeah. Now I'm just going to do one in here. Just going to do one in here just to show you. You can do them in different dishes, you know. And then just scrape it all out. Nice pinky color. And that's like a really nice, even like if you have that, you can serve it with like Greek yogurt, you know, when you have a nice little dessert as well during the week. It'd be lovely. It would be really nice served cold, you know, from the fridge. Then I'm just going to put the topping on it now. So the topping's all, see the way. And then sometimes I'm going to throw a little bit of water. I'll just show you what I do. So we trick just to get it to be a little bit crunchy. I would just put a little bit of water and just mix it up, you know.
Do you ever add crushed nuts to the crumble mix, Joanna?
Yeah, sorry, yeah, I meant to say that you can add crushed nuts as well or seeds to it. You know, if you want to increase your
Protein?
nut intake. nuts are great because they have like, they're real healthy oils, but not too many. They say like you shouldn't eat too many nuts.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've got really healthy fats in them. So that's it there.
Looks great.
And then I'm just going to see, there's still like wee little lumps, so I'm just going to stick that in the oven now. I'll maybe throw it in this oven here. And then, yeah, so I'll throw that in. Yeah, so that's everything done so far. I'm just going to get the butternut squash out from the oven, and I'll show you what I'll do with that there. So that's the butternut squash. So when you know it's soft, it could be a little bit softer, but I'm just going to take it out now. Okay. Then I'll just use a wee fork. So if you put your knife in, see the way the skin is peeling off? You can leave it in a little bit more, but the skin is coming off anyway, so I'll just peel it, turn it over, peel it like that. Okay. And it's just peeling off like a baked potato. Now I don't know whether you can eat that or not. I've never had it now, so, but I'm sure there's people that do eat it. I wouldn't waste it. But so then just chop it up. Okay. Chop it up like that. Then we're going to just put that into the soup, and then we'll blend the soup. I'm going to add a little bit more water to the soup as well. And it smells lovely, you know, it smells like roasted vegetables, you know, with garlic and herbs. It smells delicious. Yeah. Yeah, so the health benefits of butternut squash there is really good for you because it has a lot of carotene in it and vitamin A, vitamin C, which is really good for, especially this time of the year, you know. And it's low calorie, so anyone that's looking to reduce their calories, it's a low calorie soup.
I've never eaten butternut squash itself, but I've eaten the soup. I love the flavour of it, I have to say.
Yeah. But even like to do this for your dinner, you know, just roast it and see the way I've chopped it up, and then just serve that, like,
yeah,
serve it with your dinner. It's absolutely gorgeous. Okay, now I'm going to just put this into the soup. And then I'm going to blend the soup. Just show you the soup now. See how so it's kind of like
looking.
a white color. Now I'm just going to add this to it, and then I'll blend it with I have a stick blender there. I'll blend it. I'm going to add a little bit more water to it as well. So I boiled the kettle there, so I'm just adding a little bit more water into it. Now where's my blender? Oh. So I just use this here. It's like a stick blender, you know. You can use your you know, the liquidizers, you know, you can use them. I'm just going to plug this in. Give me a sec. Now, a bit noisy for a minute. There you go. Now that's it. Color of it now. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of milk to it. Just a splash of milk. Sometimes I find if you add milk to your soup, it doesn't last as long. You know, in the fridge, say if I was making soup for during the week, for my boys would take soup to work, I don't add the milk because it doesn't last as long. So just heat it up whenever you have it in your fridge, or if you're taking it out of your freezer, and then add the milk whenever you're cooking it, you know, when you're heating it up. That's just a wee tip for you, because I always find the milk. Now we're going to have this for our dinner tonight, so that's why I'm adding the milk to it. I'm going to add a little bit more. I'm actually going to taste it just to see. Do I need to add more seasoning? Oh, it's lovely.
It looks
Very nice.
delicious. I wish I could smell it now.
I know, smelly vision.
Smelly
Just put a
vision we
little bit
need.
more. White pepper is really good for bringing out the flavor, you know. Instead
Yeah.
of using salt all the time, use white pepper. It really does bring out the flavor. Even if you're doing mashed potatoes or anything, you know, always put in, instead of putting loads of salt in it, try the white pepper and you'll see the difference. I'm just gonna add a little bit more milk.
That makes sense about the milk too, Joanna. Because
Yeah,
it's going to go off quicker, so add it whenever you've heated it up, I suppose.
yeah. So just add it as you need it, you know. So that's the soup there. Now I'm going to do like a wee bowl of soup. Just going to check this bread here and see how we're getting on with the bread. I think the bread is nearly ready, actually. Just another few minutes. I'm going to put these in the bigger oven because I think that oven is a bit not as fast as that. Now I'm just going to put this back on just to keep it simple. So I'll just do a little chat with just for 5 minutes while we're waiting on everything. Yeah, so that's the crumble. The soup's ready, and then the brown bread should be ready now in a few minutes. So I had wrote down some notes here. Give me a second. Just give me a second. I have. Yeah, so has anybody got any questions for me?
We seem to have lost Phyllis now. I think she had to go and lift the children at school, she said. So, but
Oh, that's all right. You're recording this anyway.
I'm recording this anyway, so
Yeah.
I mean, it looks good and you make it look easy, and I think our members are going to just love viewing this and cooking along with it. So definitely.
Yeah, and if
I'm
anybody has
actually going to make that bread. It looks great. Looks so easy.
I know it is actually because I made two yesterday and I left them sitting on the rack and everyone came in from work and just ate away at them because I hadn't made it in a few since I had my operation, so I think they were delighted.
Your boys must be they're just so lucky to have you with all this
Oh,
nice
they're
food.
spoiled. Somebody else tell them that, please. I don't know how lucky they are. So I just have a little bit of jam and butter here for the bread. You know what I'll do? I'll put up this one from last night, but I'll show you the one whenever it comes out of the oven, you know. Show you how nice it is. Have you anything else on this afternoon?
There's yoga this evening, between 6 and 7.
Oh, that's Sarah Fee, isn't it?
Sarah Fee.
She's lovely.
She is lovely. I think our bread
And
looks lovely. Say it again.
Does she just do that on Zoom?
She does. She has classes and all, like, but she does some online as well. But this is online this evening, yeah.
Does that bread freeze well, Joanna?
It does, yeah. There you go.
That
That's
looks
the bread that I
amazing.
made last night.
Gorgeous.
It does. It freezes really well. So I would make like 4 or 5 of them and then keep them in the freezer, you know.
Yeah.
And it's a nice like solid bread, you know.
Yeah.
It doesn't break up. It's nice and you know, like the texture of it.
Yeah, I was watching you slicing it there, and that can be the handling with the wheaten bread, can't it? When you go to slice it, it all falls apart.
Yeah,
that looks good.
like if you leave it over, I think if you leave it for a few hours, don't cut it like whenever you cut it out of the oven, you know your usual like, crumble like. But if you leave it to set, it does actually like that will last a couple of days and it still tastes okay, you know.
Yeah.
Another trick actually I meant to say to you with that, there's oil in that bread. But I find that recipe sometimes if the oil mightn't be enough, so sometimes I would put like melted butter, like just probably a tablespoon of melted butter in it, you know, then it kind of keeps it more struck, you know, it keeps it more firm. So if you want to add a little bit of melted butter to it, just like a teaspoon or tablespoon maybe of melted butter. If
That's a
you're
good idea,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah, because the oil, I think, I don't know, it doesn't, it's more like a muffin texture, you know. And if
You don't
add a
want it
little bit
too
of butter-
crumbly, you know.
Yeah, yeah. So this one seems to be cooking well, actually. I'll show you.
You want to make sure you can get plenty of jam on that, Paula.
Oh, good eye. Definitely.
You can't have it too crumbly. You need enough jam.
I know. Butter it all together. But that's nearly ready, actually. I'll just show you.
I love the way the crease is down the middle and the seeds are in it.
Looks
Yeah,
lovely.
it's lovely when you slice it and you have your big, like, your nuts and your seeds in the middle of it, you know?
Yeah.
So
it's basically a health food, Joanna. That's what you're saying. It's basically a health food. I think if you add seeds to it, it becomes a health food.
It's like putting nuts on the crumble.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then you can't put the butter in. A lot of people say, like if you want to put like low fat margarine or other low fat, do that as well if you're watching your calories, if you're watching your cholesterol. So yeah. So what time of the day is it?
It's
time.
It's 1:30.
Now that soup there, I'm going to show you the. So just stir it because the butternut squash kind of goes down to the bottom of it. So just make sure you give it a good stir, and then take a bowl of it out.
I'm definitely going to give that recipe a go. My ones love butternut squash soup.
Yeah,
I like
you know
it
what?
too.
Children actually do like that soup because it's creamy.
Yeah.
You blend it all up, and you can put extra vegetables into it as well. If your
Hiding
children are
things.
fussy. I did a cookalong. It must have been during COVID, and I used chickpeas in the soup, and it was all families cooking, and all the children devoured the soup. The mothers couldn't believe it. Some of them are really fussy, like.
Yeah.
I think it's because it's creamy,
The chickpeas so good for protein,
Yes, I know it's another way of getting your protein into you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but along with the bread goes lovely with the soup, I think.
Yeah,
It's just a lovely wee meal, isn't it?
just get some parsley to be fancy.
Yes. Makes all the
There
difference.
you go. Makes all the difference. So there's the bread, and then you get the crumble out.
I wouldn't dream of not putting parsley on the top of mine.
I know,
It does look great, doesn't
it
it?
does, doesn't it?
So I bought some thyme at the weekend and I put it on the top of something, and that's exactly my daughter was like, "Ooh, why are we being so
Yes.
fancy?" I was like,
There's
because I have it.
Oh, that looks great.
there's the crumble. Okay.
Lovely.
And there's the soup, and there's the bread.
Oh,
So that only took an hour, really.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's fantastic.
I'm going to try that bread, definitely.
I feel we should jump in the car and head round to Joanna.
I was just saying, who's going to eat all this?
Absolutely. Oh, Joanna, thank you so much. That just looks
That's all
fantastic.
right. So there you go. That's the soup and the crumble and the bread, and then last night's bread put up.
Amazing. Thank you.